Right, so we're with Alan Dixon from PD Ports. Do you want to introduce yourself, Alan?
Yeah, hi, I'm Alan Dixon. I'm head of health, safety, environment, and sustainability with PD Ports. I've been with the company 7 months now. Okay.
It's brilliant. Okay, so we're going to ask some questions about why diversity and inclusion matters for mental health in ports. So from your perspective, how are diversity, inclusion, and mental health connected in a port environment?
Yeah, I think at the core of it all is that everything we do depends on teamwork and communication. So I believe that the inclusion of everybody in the team and having avenues to communicate both any concerns and issues, but also to communicate the good ideas, to keep each other in check in line with standards and procedures is crucial to sort of safety and efficiency of the operation. And that's why, these are they're not just nice things to do. I think they're absolutely integral to effective operations. Is that everybody feels involved and supported by each other. I also specifically on mental health. Obviously there are millions of factors for different individuals that can contribute to mental health or ill health, and I always think a big part of it is, do they feel isolated? Do they feel alone? That they've got no one to talk to? So I think in a busy environment and a hazardous environment like the port industry, a company having a proper framework for supporting people on mental health is crucial, really. Yeah.
Absolutely agree with that. I think particularly in an industry that has high risk operations, as you say, it's especially important that everyone feels included and everyone feels safe,
Yeah.
Regardless of background, role, gender.
Yeah.
So the next question is, in a traditionally male dominated and safety critical industry like ports, what mental health risks do you think can arise when people don't feel included or represented?
Yeah. I think there can be quite severe, actually, and there are some recent examples that bring it to my mind where people are reluctant to talk, and the less they talk, the more the problems can grow internally, and the feeling that there's nothing they can do about their concerns. But then what they're seeing every day, hazardous operations and high risk activities, and feelings that once people do start on a spiral of mental ill health, it can even escalate to extremes of considering harm, self-harm, and even worse. So I think, given that the question obviously includes that big factor about it being male dominated, I think some of even though I sense signs of positive change, there is that traditional stereotype that has aspects of truth about it, that men are supposed to be strong, they're not supposed to raise concerns, they're supposed to sort them out themselves. All those stereotypical ideas do have an effect on behaviour, and they run counter to what you need to do to overcome mental health issues. One of the most important things is to open up and share your concerns with people. So that male-dominated aspect can mean the process of avoiding mental health issues or recovering from them is all that much harder, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting because when we hear male-dominated industry, I think there's two sides of the spectrum to consider. You've obviously got the women in the workforce who feel that sort of exclusion because it's a male-dominated industry, because their specific sort of health risks, for example, aren't being considered, whether it's PPE, facilities, and because you see less of them in a sort of general sense as well. But on the other side of that spectrum, you also have men within the industry who have to face the sort of stereotypes and prejudices of men being able to stay resilient or not be able to talk about their emotions or stay strong. So I think having that traditional male-dominated industry where mental health awareness and diversity across genders, various backgrounds, various types of roles is especially important because it doesn't just affect one, it affects everyone, and people need to acknowledge that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen examples where a lack of inclusion has directly affected well-being, engagement, or even safety outcomes?
I have. And I know we're going to come on to the listening sessions shortly, Umaya, but I heard some quite strong examples during those listening sessions. One that comes to mind straight away is one of our operators in our warehousing business. He suffered some quite significant mental health issues, and he felt he had no support. This was a couple of years ago. He felt he had very little support. It actually ends on a much more positive note, because when I spoke with him, he'd moved to a different location in the business and had a different line management and team, and he himself noticed what a difference it made. And it was the fact that he had a supportive line manager and also supportive colleagues around him that made such a difference to his mental well-being. And he said he felt in a much better place, because he was in the point where he was taking time off ill with his mental ill health. It was actually, really having serious effects on him, and he was feeling so much better. And it was quite telling for me that we often look at a lot of health and safety issues from the negatives, but sometimes you can see what good looks like, and this was an example of that as well. So
that's an amazing story. It's really nice to see the sort of change, like it had a nice sort of result or outcome to it.
yeah,
I think inclusion is a difficult one because I think until you know what it feels like, it's quite hard to differentiate that this might be the cause. Would you agree with that? What do you think?
yeah. Could you just repeat the last bit of it, please, Amaya? I just didn't quite catch it.
I think, sorry, I'd said that I think that with inclusion, it's quite hard to tell until you've been in a situation yourself. So
Right.
going from that hostile sort of environment to one where he felt included,
Yes. Yeah.
really highlighted that. Do you think it's quite a difficult topic, inclusion, or something that can be hard to detect sometimes?
Yeah. It's. I think the awareness of it. That was an experience on the part of this particular operator, where he'd learned on reflection of the both experiences. But yeah, I do think, and I'm learning all the time on this front myself. But I do think this is why we need to talk about it more, because some people will sometimes they'll just blame themselves for issues, whereas the actual environment that they're working in, which isn't all in their control, but there's a lot the company can do to improve inclusion and involvement of all people. It's a lot of it is for the company to try and foster and encourage, whereas though a lot of individuals who don't feel included probably are feeling like it could be just down to them as individuals. I don't fit in, it's my fault. So I do think there's a real place for the company itself to see the benefits of investing in better inclusion.
Completely agree with that. All right. Well, that's the first session complete. Thank you for your time, Alan.
Okay, thank you.